Hey, what up, everybody? I'm Ari Temkin, and this is Showtime right here on Phantom, the new world order of sports media, delivering live sports and sports content to you. We at Phantom put you in the center of the Dallas sports discussion. Shout out to everybody watching across multiple channels and pages, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all of our partners on Facebook, including our newest partner, the Houston Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Go check out the Houston Cowboys page and have a good conversation with a bunch of people in Houston that are not Texans fans, but in fact Cowboys fans. So shout out to the Houston Cowboys over there. Also to the Dallas Cowboys Americas team. Go like that page as well. Lots of great people and folks over there. Great content over there. Keith Price, Solar in the house. Solar says, let's go, Ari. 2018 NFC Champ Talk. DC for life, everybody. Solar is back, baby. Jason Turner in the house, Herman Lopez, Daniel Fuentes, Curtis Starks. So yeah, I do want to get into this Jason Garrett stuff. Also, a little bit of a film study. Broke down a couple of plays for you that I think are important in sort of some of the conversations we've already been having. If you have not yet already, please go ahead and hit the share button. Post your comments. This is your show. It's interactive. So whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to have your, whatever questions you have that you want to be answered, that's what I'm here for. That's Phantom. We are putting you at the center of the Dallas sports discussion. All right. I'm just trying to hit the share button here real quickly, but let's get this thing rolling. So Jeff Sullivan, who was a longtime Rangers reporter for the Dallas Morning News, yesterday tweeted that there was an extension for Jason Garrett in the works. That's what he tweeted. Somebody tweeted at him about the Cowboys and their coaching staff, and so he responded by saying that, and he works now, by the way, for DallasCowboys.com. So somebody asked him if there was an extension in the works for Jason Garrett. No, somebody asked him about Jason Garrett in general, and he basically said that he thought that there was an extension in the works. So Jason Garrett was, or rather Jerry Jones, was asked about that on 105.3 The Fan.
Jerry, Jeff Sullivan of DallasCowboys.com has a report that we could see an extension for Jason Garrett before the season's over. Do you see that happening, that there's a potential for an extension in the near future for the coach?
Yeah, I don't know where Jeff's getting his information, and he's pulling one out of the air there as far as any knowledge. I would say that my response should not in any way indicate whether I'm thinking about it or whether it's going to be there. It just is not something that I would have visited with anybody about, least of all Jeff.
The exact tweet, Jerry, just so you know, is sounds like another extension could be signed soon. Jason's not going anywhere. I have no reason to lie. So I just wanted to give you the exact wording so you had that.
What Jeff, come on, buddy, and I think the world of him, but what's there to lie about there? But I happen to know that I've never spoken to another soul about that as far as that's concerned, least of all Jeff. Mm-hmm. Now, you can call that writing something that you have no information down anything you want to. But come on, Jeff.
So there you have it. Which, if you're a Cowboys fan, then you probably are pretty happy and excited to hear because, I mean, look, who even though they beat the Jaguars 40-7, I mean, they're still 3-3, and so there's still reservations about Jason Garrett as a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So, you know, it's one of those things where Jerry's response indicates that there is some indecision on the part of the Cowboys, at least right now, when it comes to the future of Jason Garrett, right? Like, let's just say this report is false, but Jerry still wants to back his guy, and so, you know, he's asked this question. Now, if there was an extension in the works, or it was in the back of his mind that he'd like to extend him, then you'd think his response would be along the lines of defending Garrett, but it wasn't. It was more about like, that's just not true. I haven't said that, nor have I told anybody anything about that, so So I think Jerry's answer gives us a pretty good indication that the jury is still out on Jason Garrett, which is really, really good news. Because we hear that Jeff Sullivan says that they're close to an extension with him, and it's like, why the rush? Why would you be in such a hurry to give Jason Garrett an extension? Because they beat the Jaguars 40-7? That's it? So now in Jerry's past, it could be that a 40-7 win over the Jaguars was the thing that tipped the scales on getting an extension for a head coach, or a 3-touchdown game for Roy Williams then gives him an extension, right? Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we've seen stuff like that happen, but Jerry's answer, I think, gives us some pretty good, can put us at ease a little bit when it comes to, he's going to let this thing play out. Now, I think the truth here lies in, the future of the Dallas Cowboys hangs the balance, because if they make the playoffs, they're going to give Jason Garrett an extension. If they don't, then they probably fire Jason Garrett. So, I mean, that's a odd, there's two paths you can go by, but in the long run kind of thing. So I would just say that based on Jerry's, again, response to the question on Sean and RJ's show on 105.3 The Fan this morning, he basically refuted that that's been a conversation that anybody could possibly know about, because it's a conversation that he hasn't had, meaning he's not thinking about giving Jason Garrett an extension right now, nor should he. So I found that to be very interesting, because, again, we've seen Jerry sort of make these mistakes in the past, giving guys extensions or whatnot based on, one game. And so when you hear the report from Jeff Sullivan, he's close to getting an extension, you're like, oh, God, that changed quickly. It went from should they fire Jason Garrett, will they fire him, to a 47 win of the Jaguars, and now it's like, make him the GM, give him a 100-year extension. I mean, there's no hurry. What's the hurry? Is there any upside to giving Jason Garrett an extension right now? I mean, the only upside I see is, well, you give some assurances to your coaching staff. Well, who cares? I mean, this isn't college football to where you're relying on recruits in next year so that if you give him a contract extension, now the recruits know that he's going to be there. I mean, that there's a plus side in the college level to doing that. I see absolutely no plus side whatsoever in the NFL. Players don't have any choice for the most part over where they're going, and especially not mid-season. So, I mean, there's just no reason for them to be talking about an extension. Aurora Garza says hello. Wayne Bledsoe gives me is waving at me. Mike Wellman says, let's pray we don't make the playoffs. Solar says, well, we keep coaching because we are going to the playoffs. Joseph Leal says, maybe the Cowboys need a new culture instead of trying to play like America's team and the stigma it holds. How about playing like America's badasses every game? Okay. Mark Martin says, if they beat the Redskins and make the playoffs and win a game, an extension is coming. And I don't even think, just make the playoffs and an extension is coming, to be honest with you. I mean, I know there are a lot of Cowboys fans that think, well, he's got to win a game in the playoffs. I could be wrong. I just don't see that. He gets the playoffs, he's going to get an extension. Edwin Singleton Sr. gives me the thumbs up, meaning Jason Garrett should get a contract extension only if he makes the playoffs. That's on the Dallas Cowboys report page. Jennifer Hankey says DC for life. Barry Carter says Jerry isn't that stupid. Another puppet failure by JJ, but will never admit it. And Dahlia and Mike Martinez give me the thumbs up. So I'm asking you, there's talk today about a Jason Garrett extension, which is kind of funny. That coming from Jeff Sullivan of the DallasCowboys.com, former Texas Rangers beat reporter for the Dallas Morning News. So I'm asking you, either, yeah, he should get an extension if they make the playoffs, or heart emoji, meaning under no circumstances. So give me the thumbs up or the heart emoji, depending on how you feel about that situation. Joe Lucia says, hi, Ari, on the Phantom page. Joe, how are you? Chris Bennett gives the 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black heart emojis. So I guess that means really under no circumstances. Danny Easley says, if Garrett and Scott let Dak get loose and run the ball more, our offense will be good enough to take us to the playoffs, perhaps. Houston Cowboys. A reminder to go check out the Houston Cowboys page as we're broadcasting live across Houston Cowboys page. He comments, it's good to see that Jerry is looking at performance instead of what we all thought, which was jersey sales. We want to win. Agreed. Danny Easley says, Ari, I'm glad we're going to get 2 wins in a row. Zeke's going to get two rushing touchdowns this weekend. I like the confidence. And then there's Ninja Nut says Garrett just gave the players extra days off. Pretty much sums up why he's not a good coach. Complacency. Look, you want your coach to have a feel for your team. And, I know that, they have the day off on Monday. He gave them another day off on Tuesday. Like, Tuesdays, I believe, traditionally are film days anyways. So, like, what that means is I'm sure some guys are still going to be in there watching film. Maybe not all guys, but some will. But, I mean, they're gonna get back to the physical labors of practicing to get ready for Washington, game plans, those kinds of things, install for the Redskins tomorrow. So, then they work on that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They leave Friday. So, I'm not going to make that big of a deal out of him allowing his team a day off. Again, I think like part of what makes good coaches is knowing knowing how to take the temperature of your team and knowing when to push which buttons and when not. And look, all last week we questioned whether or not Jason Garrett should be the coach of this team. I think most people said he shouldn't and that they'd rather he be fired right away instead of waiting until the end of the season. But we talked, and especially on the pre- and post-game show with Jesse Holley, the big talking point was, could he lose this locker room? Could he lose this locker room? Not going for it on fourth down, not showing confidence in his offensive football team. He has Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott second-guessing him. He had Jerry Jones second-guessing him. So he could have been on the cusp of losing this locker room. Well, I think the response by said locker room was a pretty resounding no. They still have his back, and that's what the 40-7 win tells me. So, look, I've been over it time and time again. There are a lot of boxes that coaches have to check off when it comes to being quality, being good head coaches, schematics, philosophy, leadership. And I don't know how many of them Jason Garrett checks off, but motivationally, he's a really good football coach, consistently. Again, I don't know how good of a tactician he is. I'm not really sure how good at evolving he is. In fact, I'd say he's horrible at it. But he's a really good motivator as a head coach, and he's never lost the locker room. There have been moments where it seems like he would, and they respond in a way that's a 40-7 victory over the Jaguars. Now, look, there's confidence in Garrett right now, more so than there's been the entire season. This is the most confidence that this team, this fan base, and the media has had so far this season of Jason Garrett. But it's all for naught if they lose on Sunday against the Washington Redskins. Patrick Prescott says, yo, Ari, what's up? Xavier Guzman says, how about them Cowboys? Wayne Bledsoe says, I don't know if it's Jason Garrett is the problem. Let's see here. Jesse Garcia says Chris Carter stated on ESPN that he's seen Linehan's offense through the league. He can't understand why it's so flat with Dak. Perhaps Dak's not grasping the whole playbook, and that's why it's so basic. Perhaps. A little bit later we'll do a little film study here, which I'll show you some clips that I pulled from the game and kind of show you some of that stuff, the play calling, decision making, those kinds of things as it pertains to Dak Prescott and how much of the offense he knows and that kind of stuff. At first, though, I just want to at least get everybody's thoughts and opinions. Let me check out the America's Team Silver and Blue Club page. Another one of our partners over here at Phantom. There we go. America's Fans Silver and Blue Club, I should say. If you don't, go make sure to like the America's Fans Silver and Blue Club page. Just search America's Fans or Silver and Blue Club and find them there, broadcasting live across that page. It looks like there are no comments there. All right. It's all good. I understand. All right. And then real quick, just going to check out Dallas Cowboys Really Real fan page. So here's the thing. They all have kind of different deviations of Cowboys and America's team. So I have to retype in all the different variations. So that's why it kind of seems like I'm wasting time by doing that. All right. My mother-in-law is watching. How are you? Ninja Nut says, I'll give him motivation, but horrible at accountability. Yeah. Well, and he's not good at evolving. This kind of goes back to Wayne Bledsoe saying, not really sure that Jason Garrett is the problem. I mean, we just haven't seen a coach evolve over the course of a season, that was the main talking point last week, and that doesn't change much given the outcome of last week's game. I've argued and will continue to argue that that's a fatal flaw of winning in the playoffs. You can't win in the postseason in the NFL unless you can evolve. So you can win a lot of football games during the course of the regular season by doing what you do, but you have to evolve, you have to change, you have to be a chameleon in the NFL playoffs, and that's a fatal flaw to me. Dakota Stiegel says, "How's Ari doing?" I'm doing well, thank you, Dakota. I appreciate you asking. Lula Young gives me the thumbs up, meaning wait till the end of the season. Lori Morales in the house. Now it seems like the Showtimers are all showing up. Lori Morales, Solar, Dakota Stiegel, Corey Miller, G. Garcia, Jesse Garcia, Ninja Nuts, Joe Tranchina, Danny Easley, Neil Favre, Cody Arnold, John and Mag, Henry Munoz. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all you gals. Showtimers showing up every single day and being a part of the show. If this is your first time watching, I would invite you back each and every day and become a Showtimer yourself. Become somebody that's part of this community, this family, this group that talks Cowboys Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. Central to 1 p.m. Central. And if you wouldn't mind, hit the share button too. That also helps. All right. Anthony Donaldson says, true. It's about the playoffs, Ari. Yep. Which is why, if you're a Cowboys fan, and I know this could be a tough one, Solar, for you, you probably have to be rooting for them not to make the playoffs, because I don't think Jason Garrett's going to keep his job if they miss the playoffs. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, so maybe it won't matter. But if they make the playoffs, there's a good chance he'll get an extension. And I just don't think that Jason Garrett has the ability to win consistently in the postseason. We've seen it already. Inability to evolve, change game plans, learn, grow, those kinds of things. We just don't see it. It's a fatal flaw in the playoffs. So that's why, again, they've won a decent amount of games as long as Jason Garrett's been their head coach, but they've won how many playoff games? To me, that's why. You can win a lot of games in the regular season, but to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to evolve consistently. And we just don't see that. All right. Solar says, I'm more concerned with Dak, where we're going to get than which coach. Which Dak we're going to get than which coach. Okay. Corey Miller says, one of the best live shows on Facebook for Dallas Cowboys fans. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you saying that. Spread the gospel. Ryan England in the house. He's a Showtimer. He says, pressure needs put on Linehan. He needs to put this offense in a position to be successful, and they have to execute the game plan perfectly. But, and that's true, right? Like Scott Linehan, this is his offense. I'm not really sure how much of an input Jason Garrett has. But at the same time, if they don't make the playoffs and then they use that as an excuse to keep Garrett, would you be happy as a Cowboys fan? Like, well, we got rid of Linehan and he was running the offense. G. Garcia says, any Cheeto injury updates? Haven't heard anything on that front yet. Sean Shake in the house from the Sports Fury. What's up, Sean? They better not extend him. Shake my head. So I guess the Sports Fury, those guys do awesome work. Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, they're killing it. And last night I was going to look for their stream, and they weren't on. And then I heard you guys. So in Dallas, AT&T had one of their main hubs was struck by lightning, and so I guess a lot of people in Dallas who have AT&T internet service were without service yesterday, which sounds horrible. It sounds like the worst. That sounds like the worst. Like, I would rather be without power than the internet. Now I know. If you're without power, you don't have the internet, but the point remains. That's like the most important thing in life to have in this day and age. And when you don't have the internet, it's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? How am I connected to the rest of the world? So I'm glad to hear. Now, I know my buddy Dalton Miller at AT&T, he said the same thing was happening to him yesterday, but he got his back early this morning. So, Sean, hope you guys had the same for both of you. Jay Navarro in the house. So a lot of people, I think, this is such an odd situation for Cowboys fans to be in. Because on the one hand, you're a Cowboys fan. You'd like your team to do well. It makes you happy when your team wins, and you hate when your team loses. Like, that's right. Like, that's the world we live in. But at the same time, I think most people don't want Jason Garrett to be the head coach of the Cowboys, right? So how do you reconcile those two things? You continue to win, and you're only ensuring future longevity of your head coach. You lose, though, and now you're on track to lose him as the head coach. So it's a tough spot. Now, look, they rattle off a couple of wins here, and all of a sudden now we're looking at a whole new Jason Garrett. And it's funny because last week we were talking about, well, if they lose to Jacksonville, they lose to Washington, and they come out of the bye, lose to Tennessee, you're looking at 2-6. They may fire their head coach. And now it's like, well, they beat Jacksonville, and if they beat Washington, they come out of the bye, they beat Tennessee. Now we could be looking at an extension for their head coach. It's amazing how much can change in 1 week. I mean, it truly, truly is. All right, let's see here. If I can see what's going on across all the different pages. We are streaming across Houston Cowboys. Shout out, Houston Cowboys. Any comments over there? Yes. Billy Joe Nieto Sr. is the heart emoji. I don't even know what to call. What is that? Heart eyes emoji? Is that the heart eyes emoji? What's the best reference point for heart eyes emoji? Edwin Martinez says, I have only one question. Is JJ out of his freaking mind? We had good times with Jason Garrett, but well, actually, and I'll play the clip for you again, he's very much not out of his mind because, again, Jeff Sullivan, DallasCowboys.com, he's the one that created this report by tweeting to somebody that an extension was in the works. And then here's what Jerry said on 105.3 The Fan this morning.
Jerry, Jeff Sullivan of DallasCowboys.com has a report that we could see an extension for Jason Garrett before the season's over. Do you see that happening, that there's a potential for an extension in the near future for the coach?
Yeah, I don't know where Jeff's getting his information, and he's pulling one out of the air there as far as any knowledge. I would say that my response should not in any way indicate whether I'm thinking about it or whether it's going to be there. It just is not something that I would have visited with anybody about, least of all Jeff.
All right, so there you have it. That's just half the quote, but if Jerry was in fact thinking about an extension, I would imagine his answer would be a bit different. Like, well, we like Jason a lot. I mean, he'd support him. He didn't necessarily have to say, we're going to give him an extension. He didn't have to verify the report, but you'd think if there was an indication that he was in the market to extend him, he'd defend him, just like he kind of did last week. So it's kind of funny, right? Like last week, he goes on 105 through the Fan on the G-Bag Nation on Friday and goes in this diatribe about how Jason's great and he's smart and he's learned a bunch and they're excited about it. And then today, after a huge win where you are, in full position to be in support of your head coach, he goes the opposite direction. Which, again, let's not read too much into the tea leaves for the 76-year-old owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but he's not thinking about it. That's what he just said. And so either they're going to have to be 6-3, 7-3 for that to be a possibility, or he's going to wait till the end of the season and let this thing play out. And I think the majority of Cowboys fans probably just want to see this thing played out before a decision is made on it. Dakota Stiegel wants to know if Sean Lee is playing this week. My guess is no, because here's the deal. They can buy another couple of weeks without Sean Lee, and we've already been talking about this, but I mean, when they go with that nickel package and they go 2 linebackers, that's Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. At this point, you can't put Sean Lee back in to replace Leighton Vander Esch because he's balling out and he's the future. So I think they're not that much in a hurry to get to that decision part of it, right? Like they're not going to run up to make that decision. They're going to wait and give him another 2 weeks of rest. Now, maybe he will play this week, but my guess is with the bye week coming up next week, you sit him for the Washington game. He gets another week of rest for the bye week, and then you come Tennessee on Monday night, and you kind of have a decision to make. Jay Navarro says, "What's up, Ari? Cutting grass right now. Shake my head. Just stopping by to share the stream. I'll rewatch later tonight." Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. That's it is pouring rain and freezing here in Dallas. So, Jay, I can't remember where you are watching, but not exactly grass mowing weather right now. That's why I'm wearing this jacket. It went from like 2 weeks ago it was 90 degrees here in Dallas, and now it's like in the 50s, upper 40s, and rainy. And like it's been raining nonstop forever. So enjoy being outside. It's not that nice here. Oh, and Sean says, yeah, couldn't stream last night, but we're good and can't wait to stream tip-off. That's right, NBA tip-off tonight. Man, that's going to be fun. By the way, great reminder. Thank you, Sean, for that. Tomorrow night, Mavericks tip off the season against the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to be hanging out and live streaming the game starting at 9:30 from Parkway Tavern in Plano. Come hang out. So it's the late game, Mavericks and Suns in Phoenix, 9:30 tip. It's going to be Luka Doncic's first game ever as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. It's going to be very exciting. DeAndre Jordan. So if you live in Dallas, make plans tomorrow to spend it with me at Parkway Tavern in Plano, just off of the Dallas North Tollway. It's over there between Windhaven and Parker, Windhaven and Parker, right there behind Whiskey Cake. So come hang out with us. If you click on the invite, you'll get a coupon for a free appetizer up to $10. So again, tomorrow night, 9:30 tip between the Mavs and Suns. Come watch the game with us at Parkway Tavern in Plano. And by the way, Parkway Tavern is also hosting our watch party on Sunday, and they're giving away a Yeti cooler during Cowboys Redskins on Sunday. So if you can't make it out tomorrow night, all good. Make sure to make plans to be out at Parkway Tavern Sunday, where they're giving away a Yeti cooler to somebody during Cowboys and Redskins on Sunday. All right. Let's see here. Keith Stone says, what? Garrett getting an extension? Not yet. But Jeff Sullivan, DallasCowboys.com, said that they were close on extension, and I just played the clip that had Jerry saying, that's not true. And if I was, Jeff Sullivan wouldn't know about it, basically is what he said. Cody Miller says, I'm with you there, Ari. Garrett is way too inconsistent. Haven't seen it for his entire career with us. Dak's rookie year had a lot to do with Romo whispering in his ear. Noticeable difference when Tony Romo went to the booth. Mark Sanchez. Let's not forget that Mark Sanchez was and Dak even said so his rookie year. Romo was rehabbing and injured for most of the beginning of it, and then when he came back, he was competing with Dak for the job. Not to say that Romo, didn't help him, but again, I've said this a lot. Let's not rewrite history here. Mark Sanchez was the guy that was he was the guy that was the real influence on Dak Prescott as a rookie year. And if there's any questions about, why didn't, they should have brought in Romo to be a coach or whatever. I mean, it's Mark Sanchez is the guy they should have brought back, but didn't. For what reason, I don't exactly know. But maybe it's because of Scott Linehan. Not really sure. But that's the truth. That's the truth of the matter there. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Joe Lucia says, hope we don't re-sign Garrett. We need new philosophies. Agreed with you there. Eddie Vega says, Garrett's had plenty of opportunities to win. Time to move on. Well, Dakota is just a Romosexual. That's Stiegel. Dakota Stiegel, not Dakota Prescott. It's funny, we have Dakota Stiegel and Patrick Prescott, part of Showtimers, part of the Showtime Nation. And they're both kind of anti-Dak, I feel like, which is kind of funny. One has the same first name, one has the same last name, and they're both kind of not really in on Prescott as the quarterback. Danny Easley says, I miss living in Dallas. Pittsburgh isn't the same. Come on back. G. Garcia says, MFFL, Mavs fan for life. G, I hope to see you out there tomorrow night. Mike Tipton says, if Dak learned from Sanchez, that explains literally everything. Come on, Tipton. No, I mean, it's true. The biggest influence on Dak his rookie season was Mark Sanchez. And Dak said that. And again, Romo was rehabbing from an injury. All right, I do have I want to get down to breaking down some plays for you to kind of give you, because we can sit here and talk about some things that are going on, but it's another thing to actually see and look at what we're seeing from Dak and those kinds of things. So I'm not a film expert. I'm not a coach by any stretch of the imagination. I'm looking at the same things you guys are. So I figured we could all look at it together. Adam Basom says, I just threw up in my mouth. Probably because you're saying, is there a contract extension for Jason Garrett? Man, I really hope there's not. And the answer to that is Jeff Sullivan from DallasCowboys.com tweeted that they could be working on an extension. Jerry Jones came on 105 through the Fan this morning and said, if we are, Jeff Sullivan would know about it. But so I would say if you just threw up in your mouth because you're saying Jason Garrett extension, it's not going to happen just yet. But it could if the Cowboys make the playoffs. Don't be surprised by that. Just want to check in real quick on the Phantom YouTube page. If you are not already subscribed to the Phantom YouTube page, what are you doing? Make sure to go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button over there because you're going to get a lot of great content that we're doing over here with Phantom. Dakota Stiegel says, I hate Prescott. So does Patrick Prescott. Dakota and Patrick Prescott. Dakota Stiegel, Patrick Prescott hate their namesakes. Hate's a strong word, Dakota. Let's see here. Jason Turner says Dak better as a run threat. He has some size and wheels, smart runner. Agreed. That's probably at this point, that's probably Dak's best skill. I feel like Mr. Rogers now. Won't you be my neighbor? I'm getting hot, so I figured I'd just take off the shirt. And now I've got like a, there we go. I always forget that when I wear this Simpsons shirt, it's kind of translucent with the green screen, so it looks kind of goofy. But, you know, whatever. I'm hot. What are you going to do? I'm sweating a little bit. All right. Let's see what else you guys got. Patrick Prescott. LOL. Hate him too. There you go. Dakota Stiegel, Dakota Prescott, Patrick Prescott. They don't like him. Same names. They don't like him. But it's cool. It's all good. You don't have to like people with the same name as you. I don't like all the Aris in the world. In fact, I probably dislike most of them. Starting with Ari Gold. All right. So again, I think Jerry last week defended Garrett. This week was not defending him when asked about the possibility of an extension. So, you know, look, I think the jury is still out. That's what Jerry Jones's answer said to me, which is good news if you're a Cowboys fan. All right. Film study. So Cowboys beat the Jaguars. Carrie Teagle says, what's up, Ari? That show was you on last night was uncut. The show with you on last night was uncut. What do you mean by that? Was it good? We did a little podcast, live podcast thing last night. Myself, TJ Carpenter, Josh Briscoe. We're going to do those every Monday night. I thought it was fun. Lori Morales says, that's what I'm saying. Don't be a tease, Ari. In reference to... Oh, Keith Stone says, take it all off. Woo! Facebook would end the stream. Literally. Also, the numbers would plummet. Maybe. Probably. Carrie Teagle says it was funny. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for checking it out. Curtis Harris in the house. What up, Curtis Harris? Chris Bennett says the show with TJ and the albino was wild last night. That's what you should expect to see every Monday night. So just tune it on. And again, make sure to like the Phantom page. Go to facebook.com/watchphantom. Here, there we go. And get it going on. All right. So let's take a look at some of the film from the game. 40-7, a unbelievable victory for the Cowboys. And the question is, how did they do that on offense? And the answer is, well, they were good on third down. They held up in protection well. They ran the read option very well. So a lot of things that had to go well ended up going well for the Cowboys. And we'll take a look at that in a second here. Wayne Bledsoe asks, who would we replace Garrett with? I've already said Lincoln Riley, but I know Solar mentioned David Shaw, Chris Richard. There's plenty of candidates out there. All right, let's look at film. Okay, so this first piece of film we're going to look at is a pass by Rico Gathers. So you can see Rico on the end of the line there, and you're going to see another angle of this in a moment, but that's a nice catch in the red zone by Rico Gathers. This set up the Cowboys' second touchdown of the game. Okay, so there's Rico on the right side, the end of the line. And look how they set up this play to go to the left. So they get everybody moving to the left, and then Rico just kind of sneaks out and gets open. The Cowboys run this play a lot. And here you can see it again. So watch, they bring Jeff Swaim in tight. So they tell Jacksonville they are going to run to the left. They fake the action to the left, and Jacksonville buys. Look at the over pursuit, and then there's Rico, and now he's got him. He's got the defensive end who's trying to go inside, got him way too far inside, and so Rico's got him, and it's a nice, easy pitch and catch, quarterback to tight end. And that is a play we see the Cowboys run a lot of, which is a good play call. It didn't work. I mean, they ran it one time with Jameis Olawale in the red zone later in the game. It didn't work as well. But we've seen them run it with Jeff Swaim. You know, that's when you have a really good running back and a really effective running game, That's a play that's going to work a lot because teams are bailing out to stop Zeke Elliott. So there's really nothing they can do to protect. And especially, this is where Rico Gathers' ability to block comes into play. Because if Rico Gathers is only out there as a pass catcher, well, now you tell the defense, hey, you see 80's out there? He's going to be a pass catcher in this situation. So we've seen him take snaps where he's a blocker. So teams have to respect his ability as a blocker. So he's on one end of the line. They bring in Jeff Swaim, who's in the slot, and then he comes inside. And now you tell the defense, hey, we're going to run left. And sometimes the Cowboys will run left into that. But this is a situation in which they fake that run and then get Rico Gathers wide open there. So that's a good play call, good play design, good execution. Steve Undrowski says execution and consistency is key. Furthermore, Dak needs to run himself into throwing shape, get him involved in the run game, and he takes it up a notch. Sure, and that's obviously what we saw that worked well for the Cowboys on Sunday. I know a lot of people complain about Tyrone Crawford. I've never really found that to be legitimate insofar as like maybe they overpaid him. Maybe. But I pulled this clip because I wanted to tell you just how good Tyrone Crawford is. And by the way, he's having a great season. All right, so here's a play where they fake a handoff and then Blake Bortles has a wide open hole that closes very quickly. So watch Crawford here. Watch where he goes. He goes inside on the defensive tackle. So he spins inside, which leaves that gaping hole right there in the middle. And do you see how quickly that hole diminishes because of this play by Crawford? Watch Crawford. The double team comes late. He gets through. Bortles sees the hole, and watch the diving effort here by Tyrone Crawford. That is now, it was a sack, and I believe the sack is a half sack to Antoine Woods, a half sack to Tyrone Crawford. But again, just look at the play, the highly athletic play by Crawford. He spins inside, which opens up that gap for Blake Bortles to run through, and Bortles sees it and immediately tries to expose it, but Crawford, because he's able to dive and make the play, slows him up, and then it's Antoine Woods who cleans up the play. Look at that play by Tyrone Crawford. I mean, I know people complain all the time about Tyrone Crawford, but look at this. This is a dynamic play. He's rushing the interior, leaves that gap in the middle, and look at this play to get there, because he knows that if he doesn't, it's his fault that hole was there for him. So another great play there by Tyrone Crawford. Jessica Haggerty says, tell him, bro. Damn right. Lori Morales says he ran the ball a lot during his rookie year also, talking about Dak. Ryan Fitz says Dak's basic mechanics are horrible, jumping around when he throws like Doug Flutie. At least Flutie has an excuse, seeing how he's a little fella. We're about to see a really good throw by Dak Prescott that was not completed, which I'll get to in a moment here. Jessica Haggerty says, I'm tired of you people taking down our boys. Jessica, we've been over this. I'm not here to spit. I mean, I'm not here to be the ultimate optimist every time, all the time. I'm going to tell you what I see, how I think it can be fixed, my analysis. Like, that's what I'm here for. My opinions. I'm not here to tell you that everything is always great and that it's roses and rainbows and everything's fantastic. It's just not what I'm going to do. It's not what I'm going to do. I'm not a homer. It's not what I'm going to do. But I love you, Jessica, so thank you for being a part of this stream. I know you're a huge Cowboys fan, so it's great to have you. Anton Johnson says, crazy how 4 years the defense carried the team. Now 4 years the offense carried this team. Now the D is the strength. It is kind of crazy. It is. And it gives you a pretty good indication of the NFL. How it's, it's like you fix holes and you've got a strength on one side of the ball and then you try to fix the other side or other positions and all of a sudden, there's holes on the, like, you just never can plug up the dike in football, in the NFL. It's like you plugged up the dike on the offensive side and then it's like, all right, let's start building this defense now. And, we don't have to touch the offense. And all of a sudden now it's like you start plugging in really good pieces on defense and now water starts, spurting out of the other side. That's just how it works. It's the nature of the NFL. All right. So here is a really, really good play. It's a really good play call. It's a really good play design. It's a really good job by Dak Prescott, and it's a horrible, horrible play by Blake Jarwin. So here's a 3rd and 1 from midfield. And that's, again, just showing the ultimate play. It's a drop by Blake Jarwin. This was not much by the defensive back to stop it. So here we go. This is 3rd and 1 from midfield. The Cowboys line up like they are going to run the football. So they fake the handoff play action, and look, it works perfectly, and it's a perfectly thrown ball that Blake Jarwin is not able to catch. Again, here it is. This is, hey, we're going to run. It's a third down situation. They're telling the defense they're going to run, and there's Blake Jarwin there at the end of the line next to Jeff Swaim on the right side. So they bail out. They're telling Jacksonville, we're going to run to the right side. So watch this. The defense and the linebackers collapse to stop Zeke, and then there's Jarwin, and he's, boom, right there. Wide open. Get him the ball. And he does. Dak with a really, really good throw. And it's just dropped. It is not, there is, from that angle, you can't exactly tell, but that is not a good play by the defensive back. That is a catch you have to make in the NFL. That is, again, just want to go back to this play. It's a great play call. It's great execution. It's great design. It's just, I shouldn't say great execution. Everything's good on the execution except for the final end, which is Blake Jarwin dropping the pass. Again, this is a really good play by Dak Prescott, really good play call by the Cowboys. 3rd and 1 from midfield. You're telling the defense you're going to run. Instead, you go play action pass, and you get your tight end wide open. The only problem was it was the wrong tight end. Maybe next time they move Jarwin where Jeff Swaim is currently, and then put Swaim in that position, because if that's Swaim, that's probably a touchdown pass on 3rd and 1. Again, you can see it in slow-mo here. Look at this. Look at exactly what this play action does on 3rd and 1 from midfield. There's Myles Jack. He commits, and by the time he commits to stopping the run, there's Jarwin already getting deep, and he's got him. He's got him. The throw is on. The throw is where it needs to be. It's just that Jarwin can't make the catch. Just not a good play by Blake Jarwin. Steve Eason says, hit your hands, gotta catch it. Yeah, and again, from that angle, it does look like the cornerback deflects it. He doesn't. He gets his hand up, but it makes no change on the ball. It's a perfectly thrown ball. That ball was put exactly where it needs to be put, and Jarwin just couldn't put it away because he's not a good receiver. Antonio Leyva Jr. says, what's up, Ari? Antonio, how are you, sir? And Curtis Harris leads us into our final film, our final piece of film, which is Beasley hit some hot sauce this weekend. Ninja Nut says, Dak out of the guys you put on there, but the true MVPs were Jalen and LVE. David Alejandre says, you just keep on, Ari. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, so I forgot to have you answer this question. Who was the MVP of the Jaguars game? So it's interesting you said that, because they won 40-7. The defense played well, but the MVP of this game is somewhere on offense. Truthfully, this offense put up 40 points against that defense. I know the Cowboys defense played well, but the MVP of this football game has to be somebody on offense. Now, the player of the game from the post-game show was Cole Beasley, but Dak Prescott, what's funny is he threw for under 200 yards passing. But Dak Prescott had a really good football game. As you see there, there's a pass that needs to be caught. That's dropped. That's more yardage. Oh, he did miss Tavon Austin. He did miss some throws, don't get me wrong, but he had a really, really good game. So I'm asking you what you guys think. Thumbs up if it's Dak Prescott, heart emoji if it's Cole Beasley, or laughing emoji if you think it's Zeke Elliott. Cole Beasley had 9 receptions, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was the first 100-yard receiving game for a Cowboys wide receiver since Week 9 of last season. It was the first Cole Beasley touchdown catch since that same game, Week 9 last year against Kansas City. So huge game for Beasley, and then Zeke Elliott had over 100 yards rushing. And when you watch the game live, it was like, oh yeah, I guess he did have 100 yards rushing. And then you go back and watch the film, and it's like, man, he really helped them out in the first half of that game. Some of those drives early on where it's close, still in doubt, he had some big-time carries that really helped the Cowboys. But ultimately, Dak Prescott converting on 3rd down. He had 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7. He converts. We're about to see a 3rd and 7 from the red zone that he converts to a touchdown pass for Cole Beasley. So, this is not the week to be calling for Dak Prescott to be replaced or Jason Garrett or Scott Linehan to be replaced. And I'm the first guy to do that. All right, here is the second touchdown pass the first half, the second touchdown catch of the first half for Cole Beasley. Again, you're going to see just this first, and this is actually a really good play by Dak Prescott. So you're about to see why. Okay, so this is a 3rd down situation, okay? Red zone. They're going hurry up here. Cowboys are in the no-huddle hurry up, as you can see by the way this thing is set up. And so what I think I love about what Dak does here is watch him move the defenders with his eyes. And it's just that 1 second. Now watch this. So you've got the linebackers. When they get out in coverage, there's Myles Jack, and then there's your defensive end, 97 underneath. I believe that's Calais Campbell. So watch Dak move them with his eyes. See there, he moved them to the right, and that one step where he gets Myles Jack and Calais Campbell moving, and now he knows Beasley's there for the touchdown pass, the touchdown catch. Again, watch this. There's Myles Jack at the top of your screen, and then there's Calais Campbell, and Dak looks over to the right. He knows where Beasley is on the left side, but he looks over to the right for the 1 second, and then that is enough to get Myles Jack and Calais Campbell to commit, and then now he knows he's got nobody to help, and he's got Beasley wide open on the left side. Again, another really, really good job by Dak Prescott there. We've been complaining a lot about Dak Prescott, but here he is moving the defense, and here you can see, now that you know what we're looking at, you can see a much better angle of it, but watch those guys, they commit over right, and then the pass goes left. And you can see the whole defense shift right because Dak's eyes went that way. Again, this is just really good. Dak knows that if he's able to move this defense with his eyes, he knows where Beasley is the whole time. But again, watch as they commit. So they commit over the left to kind of protect against Beasley going inside. And then as soon as he moves them with his eyes, he knows exactly to go right back. Again, there they go. Calais Campbell, Myles Jack, they go up. Myles Jack at the top of your screen, Calais Campbell there, top left of your screen. There's the movement, looking over that way, and then as soon as he moves them, he knows it was that 1 or 2 false steps that are going to open up an opportunity there for Cole Beasley. And again, really, really good play by Dak Prescott to move the defense and then fire back to the left side to get that touchdown pass to Cole Beasley. So much love to Dak Prescott, man. We saw a really good throw by him on play action to Blake Jarwin that Blake Jarwin couldn't connect. And then we see there's a really good... Now, that was good play design, the Blake Jarwin miss. But that was just a good play by Dak Prescott, the quarterback. It's a good play by Dak Prescott, the quarterback there, to move the defenders with his eyes and deliver the ball where it needed to go. So hopefully we can try and do this each and every Tuesday if I am able to get through all 22. I will definitely try and bring it for you. But it's funny because I'm trying to, as I do the show Monday through Friday, and I'm trying to figure out game weeks and how to do this. I mean, Wednesday is the transitional day. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to be talking about the Redskins or whatever their next opponent is. But Monday and Tuesday, those are days where we're kind of reflecting on what happened, what went right, what can they do again. And so that's obviously having film illustrate some of the points you try to make is an important component of what we're going to be doing every day here on Showtime. And I want to conclude today, as I do each and every day, with the inspirational story of the day. And that is... Paul Allen died yesterday. He was 64 years old. He suffered for a long time from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He was clear of it, and then it came back, and it killed him, and he died. And he's the inspirational story of the day because, as you can see written below, you can change the world. Now, you may not change the world as much as Paul Allen did. If you don't know Paul Allen, the owner of the Portland Trail Blazers and the Seattle Seahawks, but more importantly, perhaps, founded Microsoft with Bill Gates. So, pretty influential person when it comes to the history of the world. When you look at current technologies, where we are today, what I'm doing currently right now with you, it's all because of Paul Allen. How much did he change the world? And look, you don't just have to change the world, or you don't have within the power of your own ability to change the world like Paul Allen did. I mean, you can change the world in all different kinds of ways, by the way you treat people. By the things you say, by your actions. If you have kids, how you raise your kids, what you say to them, how you influence them. You have the power to change the world. Maybe not as much as Paul Allen, but in ways that are so significant, well beyond any way you could possibly grasp. So, again, every day I try to leave everybody with this show with just some feelings of inspiration. There's a lot of bad, shitty people in the world, so I try to not, especially on the internet, try to kind of take the focus away from them and look at people, things, humans that inspire us, ways that can make us look at the world in a completely different way. Paul Allen should do that for you. Paul Allen should make you look at the world and say, I too can change the world. Maybe not as much as Paul Allen, but in ways that are significant enough that I do have the power to change the world. I mean, when you look at the technological world and how much things evolve and grow and change quickly. I mean, it used to be Paul Allen and Bill Gates, but then you look at Apple and Steve Jobs and the influence that they had, in iPhone technology, into the modern technology for mobile, and Mark Zuckerberg, or Jeff Bezos, and I mean, brilliant individuals who have changed the world through the technologies that we use and are reliant upon today. And obviously, Paul Allen's a huge component to that. But all of us have the power to change the world. We do. We can. By how we treat people, by what we do, by our actions, by what we do in life with our jobs. We do have the power to change the world. So thank you all for being a part of today's show. Thank you all for being a part of every day's show. Showtimers, you guys that are here every day, I appreciate you all very much. I love you all very much. This show isn't what it is without you guys. So thank you and gals for being a part of this show each and every day. My buddy, my brother, Robert Anchetta, Jesse Garcia, Solar Anthony Donaldson, Lori Morales, Marcus Turner, Mike Wellman, Curtis Starks, Neil Favre, Joe Tranchina, Dakota Stiegel, Kerry Teagle, Ray Pierce. I'm sure I'm missing some, but my apologies if I am. Thank you all for being a part of the show each and every day. Again, this is your show. It doesn't exist without you. So thank you for being a part of today's show. Thank you in advance for being a part of tomorrow's show. If this is your first time, hopefully you'll come back tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon and be a part of this discussion and be a showtimer like those. But again, thank you everybody for being a part of today's show. But for now, I'm out. Peace.